Today we're going to talk about how to write a synthesis essay. The word synthesis involves taking parts from different places and putting them together to create a new product. When I was coming through school, the term research paper was used for what I'm going to use as synthesis essay. The reason why I call it a synthesis essay is because in the 11th grade, when you take AP English language, one of the 3 essays you have to write is referred to as that. On that particular essay, the test writers will give you one question that looks like this. There's a little bit of background. Then you're going to have some directions. And then it's going to explain about how you give credit to the various sources that you use. Each of them is labeled with a letter. And then each has either the author's last name or the word chart, if it's a chart, or photograph, if it's a photograph. Okay, so to start with, when you write a synthesis essay, you need to read this question carefully. All right, this particular one says many recent college graduates have faced record levels of unemployment. This situation has led people to question what they value about higher education. Some high school students and their parents are wondering if a college education is worth the cost. Others, however, believe that a college education prepares students for more than just a job or career. All right, so you can tell that we have the issue of whether or not a student should go to college, whether it is worth its price tag. Carefully read the following 6 sources, A through F, including the introductory information for each source. Then synthesize information from at least 3 of the sources and incorporate it into a coherent, well-developed essay that, this is the important part, evaluates whether college is worth the cost. So if you believe that college is worth the cost, you will use from 3 to 6 of the sources to prove that. If you think that college is not worth the cost, you would use 3 to 6 sources to prove that. Notice in the 3rd paragraph it says your argument should be the focus of your essay. Use the sources to develop your argument and explain the reasoning for it. Avoid merely summarizing the sources and indicate clearly which sources you are drawing from, whether through direct quotation, paraphrase, or summary. You may cite the sources as source A, source B, etc., or by using the description in parentheses. As you continue down, you'll see that there's some extra space on this page, and what I'd like you to do is to start by brainstorming. All right, right now, if I were to ask you, is college worth the cost? Would you agree or disagree? Make a little note, and then think about maybe 1 to 2 reasons why you have that as your gut instinct, and jot them down. Then what I'd like you to do is read sources A through F. Right? And when you read, I want you to read with your pencil. I want you to look for quotes that you think support your argument, as well as quotes that have the counter argument, which is if you said yes, something that would support no. And then I want you to think about why the counter argument is wrong. That's called a refutation. Make little notes over in the corner as to why or why not, why or why not the information does support or doesn't support your article and your opinion. And then keep on going. Source B, stuff that supports your side, as well as is there anything that you need to address that is the opposite and say why it's wrong. All right, now notice this one, this is a chart, right? So you will have the possibility of sources that agree with you, that disagree with you, and that are not biased. Typically the photographs or the charts or the graphs are just providing you information that you can use and interpret how you will. Do the same thing for source D. source E, and source F. Okay. After you've finished going through your sources, in general, that should probably take you about 15 minutes. You will want to resume with your planning of your essay. So you will want to figure out what it is that you want to talk about. All right, so in order to do that, you need to start with your introduction paragraph. The rules for introduction paragraphs are that they should include at least 3 things. You need a hook to catch your reader's attention. You need a transition, so you move from your hook to your issue, which in this case would be the cost of college. When you include your issue, you would like to hopefully do what we call paraphrase and pepper, which is where you give a little bit of your brief context on the issue and you pepper in quotes or a short quote that would help you provide that issue or explain that issue. And then finally your thesis statement. All right, then you need to move into your body paragraphs. All right, and no matter how many body paragraphs you have, we'd like to shoot for 3, but if your time, sometimes it might be less than that, we want them to follow this format: assertion, evidence that needs to be correctly cited, and commentary. Remember that when we talked about geeks, your assertion is the G, general focus, and I, the idea or the general focus used in a sentence. Evidence is evidence. Remember that you put your source A, Crawford, so put the letter and the author's name. And then commentary, for us, remember, includes the C for commentary and the either clinch that paragraph or connect it to the next paragraph. Right? But assertion, evidence, and commentary. Remember that with your evidence, do not summarize the source. You want to pick out pertinent quotes and use them to support your ideas, but not to summarize. At the end of this essay, you need a conclusion. Right? And the conclusion should recap your main idea or your thesis, and it should revisit your hook, and lastly, make your essay feel finished. All right, hope that you have learned a little bit about how to write a synthesis essay, and if you have any questions, you can please ask me in class. Thank you.